Here's how to set up LiveSplit for use with classic Resident Evil 2 using the new built-in autosplit to LiveSplit. First thing you're going to want to do is come over here to the RE2 SRC page and click on Resource. In here, scroll down to Splits and grab this blank splits files that I've uploaded here. This has blank splits for all doors, segmented splits for all categories, as well as some splits for Hunkin' Tofu and Extreme Battle. If you already have door splits, downloaded the ones from here, you already have that and you want to use those, they all work perfectly fine. They're perfectly compatible. One exception is Claire B. There was a typo in the old ones and it missed a door. So what you'll have to do is beneath split number 121, just want to add an extra split below that. Alright, so once you've downloaded these, have your splits files, this is what you'll get when you unzip that zip file. And let's say we want to run Claire A with all doors. So we're going to double click here, double click Claire A, and this will bring up LiveSplit. Hopefully it shows up like this. If it doesn't, we can fix that. But right here, one thing we want to do is right click, click on Edit Layout, and that will bring up the layout editor. The first thing you want to do for running RE2 is this timer right here. We want to switch it for a detail. So we're going to click on it, click minus, click plus here, go to timer, hit detail. Okay. We want that one because in RE2 we need to skip doors at a particular time, and this smaller timer down here will help us. This is sort of the minimum you need. If you don't have splits and a detailed timer, that's sort of the bare minimum. Well, we just talked about how to add the detailed timer for splits. You just come here to list, click one of these. Doesn't really matter which one. Anyway. Alright, so there's our layout all set up. On a side note, if you're using your existing splits and you're just moving over to this auto splitter, you might have a scriptable auto splitter in your layout. Make sure if you have one of these, you get rid of it, otherwise there will be double split. So just click on it, hit the minus. Okay, so that's sort of the bare minimum here for a layout. Now here what we're going to do is right click, hit edit splits. That's going to bring up this menu. Okay. If this says activate, we want to click this. If it is already activated, then sorry about that. Click that. If your LiveSplit isn't set to game time, this message will pop up asking you to change it to game time. And that's so that LiveSplit will display the IGT instead of real time. Right? So go ahead and hit yes here. If your layout was already set to game time, then you don't have to worry about it and that won't. Anyway, so once that's sorted, we're going to click on settings. That'll bring up this menu here. And since we're running Claire A, what we want to do is uncheck Leon A, check Claire A. And that's pretty much it as far as setting up LiveSplit. You just pick your category here. Make sure this option is checked if you want all doors. If you want to use segment splits, you would uncheck this, check this one, and then hit Claire A if you were using those. But it's pretty self-explanatory. But here, since we're running doors, A, and that's pretty much it as far as setting up the auto splitter goes. Some notes about this auto splitter is these are routed splits. So they function the exact same way as the ones that are uploaded to SRC. They'll only split if you're going in the correct direction. They won't split if you take detours. If you do want to like have splits on detours or like alternate routes, back here in the splits editor, back in this, you'll want to uncheck the enable door splits option. It's all kind of collapsed now. You'll uncheck that, and then right, so there's these two options here: enable checkpoint split, basic door splits. You'll want to check one of these. The checkpoint splits will hold up at certain locations based off of split name. The basic door splits just split on everything. So those are two options. If you want more detail on that, go ahead and click the website button here, and that will pop up this web page here, which has a bit more detail on features of the Autosplitter. One last thing I want to point out here is the exe name. So if you're running version 1.0, your folder probably looks something like this. Your exe is bio2, you're good to go. If you're running version 1.1, or if you're using the rebirth patch, I have some extra stuff in my folder. But you want to make sure that your exe file is named bio2v1.1. A good way to make sure that you don't have things kind of named wrong is right click this, click on properties, right? And this right here, this should say bio2 space 1. So depending on where you got your 1.1 exe from, you might need to rename it. Just make sure you have. That'll make it function with like the SRTs and then from here, just go ahead and boot your game. Say okay. So you'll notice the timer start here. Don't worry about that. It'll correct itself when the actual game starts. The reason the timer starts early is we need to skip this cutscene at a particular time. So I set the timer to start a little bit earlier. We want to skip it when the timer has 0.6x. And if you do it right, time it right, your timer will start at 0. And that's that. Happy running.